Topping today's news, Prime Minister Philip Davis announces plans to reduce the high cost of food. Opposition leader Michael Pintard says the PM's national address was lacking real relief. The officers indicted on charges of drug trafficking in the United States set to appear in court, and the Attorney General gives a timeline on the full implementation of the Freedom of Information Act. This is your JCN Evening News. I'm Jarino Saunders. It's a pleasure to have you join us. As of April 1st, the value-added tax rate on all foods sold in stores will be reduced by 50% from 10% to 5%, which is expected to assist those with tight budgets. As he made the announcement in a national address on Wednesday night, Prime Minister Philip Davis acknowledged that high prices exert a lot of pressure on Bahamian families.
The rising cost of food is one of the costs that has hit many families the hardest. Even though inflation is now slowing, prices remain higher than many find reasonable or affordable. And so tonight, I am pleased to announce a 50% reduction in the VAT rate on all food sold in food stores. Beginning April 1st, the rate will be cut in half from 10% to 5%. This new 5% rate will apply to all food in the food stores, including fresh fruits and vegetables, baby food, lunch snacks, and frozen foods. However, it will not apply to prepared foods in the deli.
The Prime Minister ensured that the reduction in VAT will not impact the government's fiscal targets this year. He explained that the reduction of VAT on food items also applies to wholesalers. However, he argued that VAT is not the cost of the high price on foods. He placed that blame on food importers. He says the government has a plan to address this problem with its new trade diversification policy.
Up to 90% of goods consumed in the Bahamas are imported, and 85% of those are from the United States. Historically, the Bahamas has relied heavily on a limited number of trading partners. While these relationships have served us well, the global market is constantly evolving. In the same way that we wish to promote wider choice amongst retailers, we wish to offer a wider choice of places from which we source our products. By diversifying the places from where we source our products, we not only reduce risks associated with the supply chain disruptions, we can also cut costs associated with unnecessary middlemen. If we import the same products directly from their countries of origin, we could cut some, if not all, of the middleman activity, thereby importing at a lower price.
Prime Minister Davis also announced plans to introduce new legislation to prevent anti-competitive practices among retailers and wholesalers. He also spoke of a new price comparison app that would allow consumers to compare food prices between retailers in an effort to increase competition that will help to drive down prices. The new app is expected to be up and running by the end of the first quarter 2025. In addition to the high cost of living in relation to food items, during his national address, Prime Minister Philip Davis also addressed the rising cost of housing and the government's plans to create more affordable housing options.
The huge increase in cost of housing has also helped to drive up the cost of living. We are building affordable housing and we are piloting a rent-to-own program. But while these are important, they are not reaching enough Bahamians yet. So even as we work to expand those efforts, we are exploring ways to incentivize the private sector to build more. Increasing the supply of housing is the best way to see reductions in the cost of housing. We have also expanded concessions to first-time homeowners because it's so hard to make that big leap.
In addition to affordable housing, Prime Minister Davis also addressed more affordable health care.
In healthcare, we established a catastrophic healthcare fund. When we came to office, we found an enormous backlog of Bahamians waiting for urgent cardiovascular, urological, eye care, and orthopedic surgeries by specialists. To date, hundreds of Bahamians have been able to have these life-changing and in some cases life-saving surgeries which they could not have otherwise afforded. 41,000 Bahamians now receive their medications free of charge, and we are now negotiating with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, and manufacturers to bring down prices for everyone else. We know that every cost saving helps.
The Prime Minister listed a number of solutions to ongoing challenges in the country with the hopes that as 2025 progresses, the public can see those solutions making a difference in the high cost of living. Following the Prime Minister's address, Leader of the Official Opposition, Michael Pintard, described the speech as being long on problems, short on solutions. He said, while the FNM sees the announcement of a VAT rate reduction at the grocery stores as a step forward, it falls short of the bold relief the public was expecting. Mr. Pintard said the FNM has consistently advocated for the complete removal of value-added tax on healthy foods, breadbasket items, medicines, and feminine hygiene products, policies that were in place during the last FNM administration, reversed by this PLP government, he says. Mr. Pintard also said the silence in the PM's address on critical issues like crime and corruption was deafening, but not surprising. He said if the Prime Minister's address is an indication of the PLP's agenda for 2025, it is clear the PLP is already out of ideas. Mr. Pintard said it is the Prime Minister and his government's poor financial decisions that is costing Bahamians daily. Newly appointed Commissioner of Police and JCN's Person of the Year, Ms. Shanta Knowles, expressed her excitement to be a part of the official opening of the legal year on Wednesday, serving as Provost Marshal. On the sidelines, Knowles sought to provide clarity on the investigation surrounding former Chief Superintendent of Police Michael Johnson, along with Attorney Bajon Ferguson and Police Sergeant D'Angelo Rowe, who were all charged in the magistrate's court with various crimes on Tuesday.
Well, as you know, that investigation has been going on for a few months, and we are pleased that we were able to get to a point where we are able to prefer charges before or to have them arraigned before a magistrate's court. There is much work to be done with that investigation, and we will wait as we work. We will wait for the DPP to give us further direction, and of course, as we get further direction, we will update members of the public.
The new police commissioner also highlighted the use of body camera footage, which she says will play a big role in combating corruption. She advised that there will be further advancements in this area.
We are working to obtain as much as we can so that all officers can be outfitted with body cams so that we could document their interaction with members of the public. So far the feedback has been positive because a lot of times officers are put in the limelight in a negative way, and these cameras, I believe, will be able to help us document the true actions of our officers as they interact with members of the public.
On Sunday, during the Royal Bahamas Police Force annual church service at Life Changers Ministries International on Bacardi Road, Bishop Valentino Williams and the church gifted the police force with 5 new bulletproof vests and 5 new body cameras to aid in the fight against crime. And finally, in this segment, former Chief Superintendent in the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Elvis Curtis, and Chief Petty Officer Darren Roca of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force will appear in the United States District Court in the Southern District of New York on Friday, January 10th at 12 p.m. to answer to charges of cocaine importation conspiracy, firearms use and carrying and possession and firearms conspiracy in the United States. The officers were arrested in Miami on Monday, December 25th and indicted, accused of working with Colombian drug traffickers to import tons of cocaine through the Bahamas into the United States since May of 2021. The indictment also suggests the trafficking ring had the support and protection of corrupt Bahamian government officials that provided sensitive law enforcement information to drug traffickers. Curtis, who has since been fired from the police force, was in charge of the air wing of the Royal Bahamas Police Force at the Lyndon Pinling International Airport. The indictment has since rocked the nation and has resulted in the resignation of the Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernandez. The Prime Minister is also set to meet with the commander of the Bahamas Defense Force, Force, Dr. Raymond King, in the very near future. Prime Minister Philip Davis has vowed to fully cooperate with the U.S. investigation. However, he has expressed frustration over the fact that the United States authorities would not reveal who are the government officials alleged to be involved with the drug trafficking ring. Sergeant Prince Simonet of the Royal Bahamas Police Force was also indicted, but is not on the docket to appear in court on Friday. You're listening to JCN News. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.